Hey guys, Cubing the First here. What we're going to do today is 3 example solves for solving a 3x3 using the CFOP method. Alright, so here's our first example solve. I'll have the scramble down in the description and I'll also put it right here. So, here it is, B2. B prime, U, R2. So, there's the scramble. And if I first look, what I first see is that if I move this, I have this one already made. So I'm going to use this side. So I'm going to put that on the bottom. And now, if I move this one up to here, and then do a F2, it'll then insert that. So let's do that. So you have that. And then you do an F2. And then this one, I can put that one right, if I put that one right there, I can just do R prime. So I do this, and a lowercase f, U. That way I move this entire layer. I can pull this down. Although, if you look right here, you already have this one, because this one goes here, and then you're going to move this back. So if you move this here, and this here, it'll put them all together at once. Now, time for the F2L pairs. What I see is this one is already matched up with its pair, except it's just not oriented correctly. So if I do a triple reverse sexy move, I can then put them all together. I'll put that algorithm in the description. Now, the next thing I see is that this pair, if I put this here, I can pull this down like that, and then put that there. I can connect the pairs, and then all I have to do is do a U, R, U prime, R prime, and then I insert that into that slot. Now the next pair I see is this one and this one. If I do that, what I can do is I can move this out of the way, so that way this is not right there. I can pull this onto the top layer. I do an L prime, U, sorry, that was an L, U, U, L, and then U prime, and then L prime. So now I have that in that slot. So the next thing I can see is that these two are pairs right here. That one, and then that one. So what I can do is move this here, and then this is what I do for a setup if the two tops colors are the same. If I do an R prime, that gets that out of the way, because if I did this, I would move this over here. So if I do an R prime, I can move that out of the way and then put that right there. That way they easily match up. And then I can just insert it into the slot like this. Sorry. So now it's into the slot like that. So now we have F2L done. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the top layer. And since I don't know full OLL, we're going to do this. So we have this case where we have to do this algorithm right here to put that there. And then we have to do the next algorithm to get the entire layer yellow. It'll be right there. So now, the next thing we're going to do is PLL. I know full PLL. So now what we're going to do is match that up. We can see that this piece needs to go here, because the blue, the green one needs to go there, and the red one needs to go to there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the clockwise rotation cycle, which is right here. So now we have the entire thing solved. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Let's move on to the next example. Alright, here we are for the second example. So now, here's the algorithm's going to be right here, and down in the description too. Don't forget that. What we're going to do is we're going to do a U, L2, D, F, D prime. So now we have that scrambled, and now what I can see is that the green's already there, so we'll use that cross piece. But then the thing is, we have these two in line, except they're on the opposite sides. So what we can do is do a D2. That way it'll just flip everything. So we have those two opposite colors flipped. So now what we can do is put these in and then do a D2. So now all the things are back to their correct colors. But then you might say, what about that B2? Or, sorry, not B2, that blue color. Well, what you can do is just do a lowercase f prime, L, lowercase f, and then you have that inserted. So now now we're on to our F2L, where we do the pairs. So now what you can do is, I see that these two pairs right here, the red and blue and white, those two are pairs. So what we can do is do an R and that'll match these up. So now that's the pair is all completed, but we need to insert it. So what we need to do is get this out of the way. That way when we put this one back down, it doesn't mess it up. What we need to do is we need to insert this. So now what we can do is move that right here. That way we can just pull this up and put it right in. So now the next thing, I see these two are pairs. So if we do an L, a U prime, and then an L prime, we can then get them out of each other, but you can easily match it up. So if we put this corner right above its slot, and then just do an R, then it matches them up. And then since this is already open, we can just insert that right into that slot. And now we see this pair right here. If we move this one, so it's like that, and then we can just connect them together. So now we have the pairs, but we need to insert it. So what we can do is we can do a sledgehammer, which doing that, it inserts it right into the slot. And then if we look, we see this one and this one. Those two are pairs. So now what we can do is move this so it's right next to it, and just pull this up. That way it connects them. Get it out of the way because we have to pull that one back down. So get them out of the way, and then we can just insert them right into the slot. So there's F2L. Now what we need to do is we need to do the OLL, and since we already have the corners oriented, we can just do this OLL case where we do an F, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. I'm going a little bit fast. That algorithm's right here. And then F prime. So now we have our OLL done. Now we just have PLL. We can use this algorithm right here because we see that these two edges need to be flipped and then these two corners need to be flipped. So what we can do is this algorithm right here. And then there's the second example solve. It's not that hard, is it? Alright, let's get on to our third and final example solve. So I'll have the algorithm right here, and it'll be down in the description too. So here we go. So the first scramble is F2. FL. Alright, now on to the solve. So I am half color neutral, which means I can solve the white and the yellow cross, whichever is easier. And what I see on the yellow cross is this one's opposite. That one's on opposite sides, like the green and blue are opposite. But then this green and blue are opposite too. So what I can do is just insert that using an L. And then I see that this one can go here, because then I can just do a D2 to flip them all. So what I'll do is I'll do a lowercase u, an R prime, and then a lowercase u prime. And then I see that this one can go here, so that way, because we're just going to do a D2. So I can do So I can just insert that to the bottom, and then do a D2, and then it matches them all up. So now, next I see this pair right here. So what I can do is do an R, U, R prime, and that matches them both up, just like that. So now, what I have to do is insert them, and remember you can do a sledgehammer, which is R prime, F, R, F prime, to insert that right into that slot. So next what I'm going to do is I see this pair right here. So orange and yellow, and blue and, orange and blue, yellow, blue and orange. So what I can do is I can get this one out of the way, because I'm going to try to match it up. So get it out of the way, that way it's not moved. Then do a U2, then put it back. That way they're both into the same slot. And then I can just insert it into this slot. So now the next pair I see is this one right here. So I'm going to move that into that slot, and then do the algorithm that's appearing on your screen now. It's a reverse sexy move. It then puts it right into the slot. So now what I'm going to do is I see these two pieces. Those two are pairs, except they're just not put together correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate it. So what I can do is get this piece right here out of the way, and then move it, the top piece, and then they're now separated. And I can do the trick we did before, where we then move this out of the way, and then put this piece right here on that place. Then they're a pair again. And then what I'll do is just insert it into the slot. And now that's F2L. Now we're on to our OLL, which this case right here, that's the line case. So you do this algorithm right here. So now we have all the edges together. Now what we're going to do is we see this, the car lights one, the car lights case, so you do this algorithm right here. So we have this, we have the top face all completed. So now I know full PLL, so we're going to do this algorithm right here. And then, there we are. We have our Rubik's Cube solved again. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can just comment down below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.